Hello everybody, today I've got a new training method that's pretty damn strong and really doesn't require very much. There's some very low requirements to get into this. And that is going to be the Trouble Brewing minigame. Now, don't worry, I know that Trouble Brewing has historically been kind of dead content, but recently the experience rates have been buffed quite drastically, and this kind of turns it into something of a skilling minigame. Don't worry, you're not going to be collecting the monkey nuts and creating all the brews and whatnot. It's actually going to be a very simple gameplay loop once we get into it. And I'll just let the experience rates kind of speak for themselves here. This was done in just over 2.5 hours today. I streamed it all. And you can see over the course of that time, we were averaging 13k woodcutting, 84.5k fletching, and 169k cooking experience per hour. That's right, all three of those skills with those rates. In addition, this requires no supplies whatsoever. Honestly, only thing I bring in is a rune axe, and my skills are nothing special at all. I started this with like 45 cooking and like level 30 fletching. Your wood cutting will affect how fast this goes, so I would probably recommend at least level 40 with a rune axe, but you don't need like level 99 with a dragon axe. This will still work just fine. You'll still be getting some pretty insane rates. For the other requirements, the only requirement for Trouble Brewing is you'll need to do the Cabin Fever quest. Again, requirements here are nothing special. 42 agility, 45 crafting, 50 smithing, and 40 range, which honestly you should be able to get that in just a few hours. You will need to do a couple of quests. Mainly you'll have to do Rum Deal as well as Zogre Flesh Eaters, which also has a level 50 fishing requirement, level 40 farming, 47 prayer, and 42 slayer. So there's a bit more requirements to get, the whole quest chain done, but I mean, these are good quests. You should probably be doing them anyways. And again, it's like level 50 top. So this is definitely an early game, training method. Trouble Brewing can be found on the island of Mos Harmas, which is unlocked after Cabin Fever. Easiest way to get here is simply the Trouble Brewing minigame teleport. You can also take a ship from Port Phasmatis, or you can also take a charter ship as well, and then just kind of run over. Now, the important thing about this method, though, is that you will need one other person to play with. However, you do not actually interact with that other person. So if you had an alt, for example, you could bring them along basically just to act as the rival team. The game will not actually start unless there is somebody else in the lobby. You can see I'm on blue team right now, and the game won't actually start till red team. However, you also don't want more than 2 players. So you don't want to be going with groups of like 10 and 10 because you'll be competing for the same resources, which we'll talk about in just a bit. You can see that there's actually a game going right now. I can tell because it says next game in 7 minutes and it's asking me to join the game. So I actually don't want to join the game. I don't really want to like crash their world, and I'm gonna go find a new world that doesn't have an active game, basically. All right, and this is a great example. It's gonna say waiting for more players because I need somebody else to join the other team. It doesn't really matter what team you join, blue or red. It's very similar. There's minor differences to the layout, but we'll go over both of them, and I think it's really personal preference. And here's my main joining on the other team so we can go ahead and get in the game. Now, every round of Trouble Brewing is going to go for 20 minutes, and then there's like a 3-minute intermission while you wait in the lobby. So that's why the experience rates are a little bit janky, just because, sometimes my experience tracker stops during that 3-minute intermission. But if you think about it, that's 60 minutes of game time and then 9 minutes of downtime. So it's really not that bad. You're not really sacrificing that much efficiency. Once the game actually begins, it's super simple. All you're going to do is go to the tool, go ahead and grab 1 knife. That is all you really need. Head on out of the starting area, and all we're going to be doing here is cutting down these scrapey trees. There's 2 on each side. We'll go ahead and show the other side a little bit later on, and just go ahead and begin cutting the logs. They respawn pretty fast. Sometimes, if you chop them too quick, they might be down for just a couple seconds. But again, just go ahead and chop them, run back and forth. And again, this is why you only really want 1 person per team, because, if there were like 5 people here, we'd all be competing for the same tree and basically not getting any. There are a couple of isolated trees, so I guess you could theoretically go and just go there. But realistically, it's just 2 per side that are kind of in close proximity to one another, so you can do this method with the same decent experience rates. All right, so now we're coming up on a full inventory. I like to put my knife right here, and all we're going to do is spam click to go ahead and fletch this all into the bark, and you can see the drops are insane. 160 for every single bark. Oftentimes I'm getting 2 of them, so that's why you're seeing the 320 mark. Then head up into the second floor of your area. You're going to want to find the hopper that has the bark sign, and then just go ahead and start putting in. You can deposit them one per tick. It won't go automatically. You do have to deposit it one at a time. But this is very similar to, for example, if you're doing bones at, a gilded altar or the chaos altar, you just click, click, click. Once a tick, you can find the rhythm. If you're not perfect, it's not the end of the world. You don't have to be perfect. And again, you can see the experience is absolutely insane. Once you've deposited it all, head back downstairs. And, that's it. Continue chopping. You don't need to go and collect all the other resources. This is all you're doing, and you're just here for experience. This is what I mean by it's kind of like a skilling minigame. It's very reminiscent of, the gameplay loop of Wintertodt, which is why I've been jokingly calling this Summertodt because, it's the same thing, but it's a tropical environment, no cold searing through your bones. Although there is a small chance of getting disease while cutting these trees, honestly, the disease doesn't really do anything. You can more or less ignore it. I guess if you're like 10 HP, it might be dangerous, but I've never really dipped like below 50 health or anything like that. It really just drains a bit of your stats, and that's all. It goes away on its own. Once again, get a full inventory, spam your knife to fletch all of them into, bark. Head up top to the hopper, and go ahead and just deposit it all and get your amazing cooking experience as well. Now, if you'd like, you can also forego the cooking experience and instead just fletch it all into bark and then drop it. Obviously, you won't get any cooking experience. However, you will receive, I would say, almost twice the amount of fletching experience. So for me, that was about 160k. And again, that will increase if you have a higher wood cutting level or a better axe, as that will increase how many, logs per hour you're getting. It's not super substantial though, but I think like a dragon axe with level 99 was about 20% better than what I'm doing at level 60 with a rune axe. So even if you come in here with a low woodcutting level, don't worry, you can still take some crazy advantage of this. Now, as for the different sides, I think blue side is a little bit closer to the ladder, so it's a little bit faster if you actually want to go ahead and deposit at the hopper. On the other side, however, the two trees are pretty close to one another. The ladder is just a little bit farther away. So I think that this red side is a little bit stronger if you plan on just chopping and fletching and dropping them. I'm not 100% sure which one is overall faster. If you're going to the hopper, it's probably really marginal though. It's probably not a huge difference. Again, you can see my main is just sitting there completely AFK. It doesn't matter if it logs out or anything. It doesn't stop the game. Obviously, you could be getting experience, so you could do this with a buddy. You're not going to compete against one another. Again, just one per side. And just to demonstrate over on this side, the run to the ladder is a little bit longer, which is kind of nice, gives you a little bit more time to fletch. Same idea, you'll just go upstairs and deposit it into the bark hopper. I don't think I can do it in this one though, because this is the other team's hopper. And just to reiterate, we're not here to actually play the mini game. The current score doesn't really matter. We don't care about that at all. This whole interface at the top left, it really does not matter. Now, I will talk about rewards in just a bit, but keep in mind that all the rewards from this minigame are purely cosmetic. To get the maximum amount of rewards for every single game, all you need to do is hit 100 of a turn-in, which you can just do by turning in the bark. Or if you'd like, you can also just collect a bunch of buckets. You can grab 25 of them or so. Fill it up at the water pump just outside, and you'll deposit that over at the bucket of water hopper. I only recommend this if you plan on fletching and dropping it, because you won't receive any points for doing that. But if you also want to get some of the cosmetic rewards, maybe you're interested in green logging, trouble brewing, the buckets of water are just a faster way to, rack up 100 points if you'd like. Again, it's up to you. You can either use the buckets or just go ahead and turn in the bark. It's completely up to what you would like to do. Now, there's about 5 minutes left in the game, and so I just wanted to go ahead and show my experience rates. Again, we're getting 165k cooking, about 13k woodcutting, and 80k fletching, and that's with me, messing around, running over to the other side, collecting buckets for no reason. So yeah, you could definitely do more if you're full efficiency and paying attention the whole time. Now, when there's only about a minute left, I like to just go ahead and fletch whatever I have remaining and then go ahead and deposit in the hopper. That way we can kind of cash in on, the supplies that we got. because obviously we're really here for the fletching and the cooking experience. And you don't want to be sitting on any logs left, because you'll just, once the minigame's over, you're not going to really cash in on that experience. So yeah, pretty good for 20 minutes. This is how much experience I got from just, one 20-minute game. The cooking experience in particular is pretty comparable to something like the mess hall, which I know a lot of people do to get their cooking up for something like Recipe for Disaster. And on top of that, you're also getting a ton of fletching and wood cutting. When the game ends, it's going to be a draw because, we didn't actually engage with the minigame. We just collected, bark. You're going to get your 100 pieces of 8, and you can go ahead and head right back in to start the next game. Remember, there's about 3 minutes until the next game begins. Now, those pieces of 8, remember, you get 100 for every game that you do, as long as you turned in at least 100 of something. And you can use this to buy, the cool little pirate outfits, as well as some flags, the stuff, which is used to make mature ales over in Keldagrim. And you can also buy rum, which will actually teleport you back to Trouble Brewing, just in case you want like an emergency teleport. Now, if you're low run energy, you can also use a Ring of Dueling, for example. Your alt is actually sitting there essentially waiting on the 3 minutes. And what I like to do is run over to the Ferox Enclave, go ahead and restore my run energy, and then the 20-minute timer of the minigame teleport aligns really well with the 20-minute time of the game itself. If you really wanted to, you could also, like fill in a birdhouse run or something between every couple of games during that 3-minute timer. Again, as my ult is sitting there, kind of like letting the 3 minutes run, and it won't start until I actually get back there. So I've got full run energy. I'm going to come back, go ahead and join. Next game starting in just over a minute here, and we'll be good to go to continue. Now, you may be thinking this is pretty damn strong. Those are some pretty high experience numbers for just cutting trees and depositing them. But unlike some of the other skilling minigames like Wintertodt or Temperos, you're getting no rewards. The experience is the only reward. And on top of that, it's for some of the fastest skills already in the game, cooking and fletching. Cooking is famously one of the easiest 99s to get. A lot of people get it because it's such a fast skill to train. It's so easy to just buy raw fish and then sell the cooked fish. And fletching is incredibly fast as well. And you can also do it while you're doing other skills, such as like training agility and, fletching bolts and stuff. So while it is pretty powerful, it is pretty isolated into those skills. And I hope that this is here to stay for the future, and it's not just like immediately gutted and this video is invalidated like within the week. The one thing I will add though is that this minigame will only work if there's not enough players doing it, such that there's like more than 2 in every single world, because you can so easily just crash somebody else, and I think that's going to cause a lot of toxicity and kind of devolve into chaos really damn fast. I would really beg basically that these trees are made essentially unlimited, so that an unlimited amount of people can come and just chop them and then go deposit it. Or it could be changed to something like the Motherlode Mine, or like forestry, where every single tree is based on a set duration. Otherwise, if you had, a bunch of people cutting it, it's probably going to get chopped down really fast, and everyone's going to be competing for it. And it's going to be really bad when you got like multiple people all cutting the same tree, and basically everybody's not really getting any resources. I don't know for sure how it works, but when I have 2 people chopping it, you can see it cuts down a lot faster. Anyways, that's it for this guide. Hopefully you guys can take advantage of this. Definitely try to find a friend. It's going to make it a lot easier, and you're not going to be hogging an entire world with your alt. Don't be like me. I'm bad. I'm just doing this for the video. Good luck training your cooking and fletching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully some new training methods coming out with Varlamore Part 2 very soon.